For decades, American bowlers have reigned supreme on the PBA Tour. But recently, foreign invaders have made their mark here in the USA. Case in point, Finnish star Osku Palermo, who just last week became the first international to ever win the PBA World Championship. Today, Venezuela's Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. and England's Stuart Williams are among the foursome trying to survive in eliminator competition here at the World Series of Bowling. Their American competition, two of the best, Mike Fagan and the always fiery Sean Rash. National pride on the line here at the Bear Viper Open. Who will survive? This the second consecutive year that the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas has hosted the PBA's World Series of Bowling. And today, it's the Bear Viper Open. Two Americans and two international competitors rolling for the title.
Our number 4 qualifier, Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. If that city sounds familiar, it should. It's home to Hall of Famer Amleto Monicelli, who just happens to be Ruiz's mentor.
Your number 3 seed, Sean Rash, a current member of Team USA and the 2007 Masters champion.
The number 2 seed has won all over the world, including the 2010 Qatar Open, the European Tour's richest tournament. From Ellesmere Port, Cheshire, England, Stuart Williams.
And give it up for your number 1 seed, Mike Fagan, two-time member of Team USA from Dallas, Texas, via Long Island. Let's take a look at the rules for the eliminator format that we are bowling under today, and it's pretty simple. We got all 4 on the lanes essentially almost at one time, Randy. It's a lot of bowling going on. The key, you want to be in the top 3. You don't have to be number 1 or number 2. Just be in the top 3. Live to bowl into the next match.
Exactly right.
And Mike Fagan, your number 1 seed, will be hitting the lanes first. His 10th year on the PBA Tour. His first ever title came right here in Las Vegas in '08 when he won a doubles title with Danny Wiseman.
I think the biggest difference in Mike Fagan's game now versus 4 years ago is he's become a lot more versatile. As you see in that first shot, even though he's a big power player, he's learned how to kind of back it down a bit and go straight when he has to.
Sean Rash steps up now. Spent a lot of time as a young man in Alaska and then in Wichita, where he bowled collegiately at Wichita State. Now lives outside Chicago and still seeking our first strike.
Both players light here in the early going. Remember, low score is out. And it's all about staying clean, staying close, and making sure that you keep an eye on your opponents.
So spare for Fagan. Rash trying to duplicate that feat. And it curls in. So the two Americans will take a seat and watch our two international competitors. Stuart Williams from England, wonderful character, great personality, a fan of the Liverpool Football Club. I know that's one of your favorite teams.
I didn't know they played football. I thought it was soccer they played there.
I'd kind of like you for that comment now. Williams, his first effort. There's our first strike.
Stuart, quite a character, and as you might expect, has a pretty good story about how he became a pro bowler.
Once I graduated, I decided that I'd try one tournament on the European Tour to see how I did. And of course, after I'd got out of college, my father was badgering me to get a job, and I told him that if I won the tournament, you know, I didn't have to, he could leave me alone about getting a job, and he sort of laughed and said, yeah, whatever. So I actually won the tournament. So on the way back, I reminded him of the bet, and he wasn't so happy with me.
I love it. He is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
He is a wonderful gentleman. Here's Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. Two international players showing the Americans how it's done in the first frame, at least. Rash stepping up now.
Strike there for Sean, who finished third in last week's PBA World Championship.
If you like action, you've tuned into the right station. It's non-stop bowling action here in the early going with this eliminator format.
It's a lot of action, though. But, Randy, it's also important not to get caught up in the pace and the speed that your competitors are going at. You see Mike Fagan, very deliberate, gets a strike right there in the second. You felt the one, so you just kind of brought everything back and slowed things down a little bit here because it was going at a ripping pace.
Well, and, you know, again, looking at your opponents, there's 4 players at bowling at the same time, yet you only have to beat 1 player.
Just don't beat yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
Back-to-back jacks for the Venezuelan as his mentor, Amleto Monicelli, sits there in the leather jacket, cheering him on. Ruiz, as you can imagine, always thrilled to have him here.
We are from the same town. We bowl the same state team. And he's the coach right now of the team, so we got a lot of communication when we are bowling. And he was back there from when I did my first TV show, and it was awesome. I can ask him more for him.
3-6-10 left by Williams as the Englishman eyes that one down.
Very unique style here. Watch, he keeps his eyes down at the floor and a very short follow through.
He owns 7 titles on the European bowling tour, including that Qatar Open you mentioned in the Open.
Nice spare.
Remains clean, so things awfully tight early on. And Sean Rash wired up with us today. And Sean, how's the pace of this one for you early on?
Well, so far, I mean, it's early. You know, Mike and I didn't throw the greatest shot the first frame, but we threw good shots the second frame. You know, we're all trying to attack the lane from the right part of so far, and as the day goes on, we'll transition to the left, and you know, just got to be patient and make great shots.
Sean, thanks for your time. And when we return, the foursome will retake to the hardwood in the conclusion of match number 1 of the Bear Viper Open from Las Vegas.
The PBA Bear Viper Open is brought to you by Bear. Try Bear Advanced Aspirin, extra strength pain relief twice as fast as before. By Budweiser, great times are waiting, grab some buds. By Barbazol, start your day cool with new Arctic Chill shaving cream from Barbazol. Better buy Barbazol. And by the USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, log on to bowl.com today. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the World Series of Bowling. Let's take a look back now at how our 4 competitors made it to the finals of today's Bear Viper Open. Mike Fagan, he vaulted from number 4 to number 1 in the round of 16, averaging just over 242 for the 6 games, including a 279 in the 4th and a 269 in the 6th. He would finish 90 pins ahead of Stuart Williams, who managed a 289 in Game 5. Sean Rash, who entered the round of 16 in the number 1 spot and would convert a 4-10 split here, would end up finishing 40 pins behind Williams for 3rd. And that left Ildemaro Ruiz trying to hang on to the 4th and final spot against Tommy Jones as well as Bill O'Neill. Despite only bowling a 212 in his 6th and final game, Ildemaro survived with Jones posting a lackluster 208, and O'Neill, who won last year's Viper Championship, only able to produce a 211 in their final game. They would finish 21 and 25 pins respectively behind Ruiz. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson back here with you, and only Ruiz with a opening double. What have the lanes shown you early on?
Well, I think the old pattern's still trying to settle in a bit. Obviously, through practice, the players have gotten a feel of the area of play, and on this Viper pattern, out and straighter is usually really good at the start. So we're going to have to see what happens in terms of the oil pattern breaking down and what type of adjustments the players make. And I think that's going to favor Sean Rash and Michael Fagan because they have more experience on this oil pattern.
And Fagan, the one who starts us off here in the 3rd, the number 1 seed in today's Bear Viper Open.
way off target.
Nice shot.
Well, and you heard him say it, nice shot. Wide of target, not a lot on it, a little fast.
Rash. Oh,
that's huge.
That's a borderline Brooklyn.
Well, he went right through the nose and tripped out the 4-7-10 late to catch a double. That could have been a hole easy. Open frame staring right in his face, and all of a sudden gets a little help from his friends.
First nice big break goes to Rash. Fagan cleans that one up, remains clean. 2 spares and a strike for your #1 seed. Again, the low man eliminated. Ruiz from Venezuela.
And there's potentially your first open frame. Remember, low score is out in this eliminator format, PBA's version of Survivor.
Williams off the spare in the 3rd. Head down. Gets them all to drop.
You know, in this format, when you see a player do that, when early on and the scores are really tight, boy, you want to talk about freeing your arm swing up in a hurry. All you need is for one guy to struggle. All you have to do is stay clean, make spares, keep it in play, and you move on.
First open frame, Ruiz. With your first mistake, if you will. That may be a little harsh using that term right there, but he has created an opening for the other 3. Rash off a couple strikes, gets another one. Parlay! Come on!
Now watch where this ball ends up about halfway down the lane. Sean Rash, I guarantee you this is a little farther right than he wanted. That ball's flirting at the 2 board.
Here's Fagan. Gets 9 to drop. Only 1 strike thus far for Michael Fagan.
It looks to me like the right lane is starting to hook more than the left. That left lane looks a little bit tighter. You can see the bowling balls are starting to check up a little bit sooner on that right lane. Remember, Sean Rash goes through the nose, trips out the 4-7-10. Ruiz goes through the nose, leaves a big split. And this time, Mike Fagan just a pinch high.
Ruiz off that open frame in the 3rd. Oh boy, he may have back-to-back opens here.
And again, I remember we talked about the inexperience of being in this situation.
Mike Fagan may not be thrilled with his game right now with only 1 strike, but he's saying, you know what? The way Ruiz is bowling, I just need to stay clean, and I can figure things out for the next one.
Right, so again, even more strategy. Now he says to himself, okay, I know that what I'm doing, I could probably...
Oh, nice. What a pickup! What a pickup from Ruiz!
And Amleto Monicelli enjoying that one. We take another look at this wonderful conversion. Not the easiest.
Covered beautifully.
And here's Amleto on mentoring Ildemaro.
He grew up in the same town. We live apart from maybe a mile away, and we practice together pretty much every day right now, you know, as we speak. Since I was like, when I was on the tour in the 80s, and he was maybe like 5, 6 years old, he would go to the bowling center. He would always bowl next to me and close to me and watch me bowling. You know, he was just paying attention to everything I did. You know, I kind of was his mentor.
Williams on the right lane and doubles up there. Always great to see and hear from Amleto. He and Ildemaro actually part of the same extended family. Amleto's brother Rodolfo is married to Ildemaro's sister Gigi. And as we start the 5th, Ildemaro on the bottom of this eliminator match, but only trailing Fagan by 4 pins. Fagan up on the left and working on a double.
Big backswing. Still a little heavy there.
He's fishing. He knows that the left lane's tighter. We've seen it with Ruiz. Ruiz went through the nose on the right lane. He leaves the 210 on the left lane. Fagan knows this. Oh. There's that right lane breaking down again. Sean doesn't make a big enough move, goes through the face, leaving the 3-6, 7-10.
Fagan with his second single pin cleanup there in as many frames. And now Rash. This is a tough one. Open frame, Sean Rash.
Taking a look at the shot that Sean threw when he left the split, you could see the ball just hooking violently. Remember, he went through the nose back-to-back shots on the right lane.
Williams starting to figure things out. That's 3 in a row, 4 total strikes through 5. Ruiz stepping up after that big spare conversion in the 4th.
Good shot.
Yeah, he was robbed.
It was a good shot and a good adjustment on that right lane.
Rash off the open frame. Big bounce back shot.
Locked in on the left lane. Now Rash needs to figure out the right lane.
And there's Sean's lovely bride, Sarah. The newlyweds married back in August of last year, making their home now outside of Chicago.
Ruiz takes care of the spare. Today's oil pattern, Randy. It would seem appropriate for the Viper Open. It would be the Viper oil pattern.
Yeah, good call there. 37 feet in length. And again, this pattern lends itself to playing straighter early on. And as the oil pattern breaks down, the players just start chasing it to the middle part of the lane.
Mike Fagan's good buddy Bill O'Neill, the defending champion.
Yeah, Bill O'Neill last year made this oil pattern look stupid easy.
Still just 1 strike for Mike Fagan.
Good news is he's clean, but now he's running out of pins. If he converts here, he'll only be 2 pins ahead of Ruiz.
Last 2 frames for Ruiz, 8 spare, 9 spare. In the 6th, gets the ball to drop.
Mike Fagan actually dominated this event in terms of average. For the 14 games of qualifying, he averaged over 242. The next closest player was at 235. So right now, he's a long way away from 240, only having thrown 1 strike.
Remains clean, though, which is important. But still just 1 strike for Mike Fagan. Top 3 move on right now. Ruiz just barely on the outside looking in. Williams, who's stepping up now on the right lane, in control. Rash in second. Two pin shy of a 4-bagger.
Oh, that was good, bro.
Talked to Stewart earlier, Rob. He told us that he has been working really hard on his fundamentals. And he's very fundamentally sound. And you can see it. He hits the foul line with great balance, keeps his head focused down on the target, looks short of the arrows. That nice short follow through. Nice and compact game.
Williams remains on top. Michael Fagan, your #1 seed. In a precarious spot right now, just 2 pins better than Ruiz as we begin the 7th. Your #1 seed gets the ball to drop.
There's only 8 pins separating the other 3 players. That's a good sign, though, for Michael Fagan to finally throw a strike on that left lane.
Rash looking for a double and finding it.
Come on. Make a great shot.
Four strikes 2 spares for Williams thus far.
Yeah, baby, come on.
And another strike for Williams. And the Englishman looking very much at home here in Las Vegas and the World Series of Bowling.
Ildemaro Ruiz Jr. owns more international youth medals than any other Venezuelan.
That's not a good break.
He's been coach of the Venezuelan youth national team since 2009. Finished 5th in the Viper last year. Lost in the opening match to eventual champion Bill O'Neill. Sean Rash gets all 10 to go. Dad and wife happy. Third spare for Ruiz. You see the nonverbals though. He needs to start getting some strikes. Everybody else struck in the 7th. And Ruiz saddled with a spare. Sean Rash already with a strike in the 8th. Here's Michael Fagan's effort in the 8th frame. Working off of a strike. Only his 2nd of this match. And a 10-pin shy of a double.
Well, a really good shot. Working on a strike. Michael Fagan wants to separate himself from Ruiz, thinking double all the way, and that's just a vicious ringing 10.
Ruiz just 1 strike in his last 5 frames.
Gets them all to drop right there. 3 of his 4 strikes this match now coming on that left lane. Fagan stays clean through 8.
Williams about to step up. He is now dropped into 2nd place behind Sean Rash. And Mike Fagan still clinging to that 2-pin lead over Ruiz. Top 3 move on to match number 2. Low score is out. Williams drops a double.
Great shot.
Fagan, your number 1 seed. Last 2 frames, strike and 9 spare. Ruiz just putting a little pressure on him there with that strike in the 8th. Those two essentially right now battling for the last spot to move on to the next match. Four pin.
Stuart Williams has essentially locked himself in, barring any disaster in the 9th and 10th frame. Now that Michael Fagan can only max out at 205 if he converts the single pin spare.
Here's Rash in 2nd, trailing Williams by 7. Ooh. 2-8-10 split. Kidding me.
Well, not what you want to see if you're Sean Rash this late in the game. You've got a nice, comfortable lead, and
big effort from Rash. Oh! Sean was in 2nd. Williams all alone in 1st. He's pretty much held that since about the 3rd frame. Head down, release, rotation. No splash, leaves the 10 pin.
well, a spare here, and Stuart Williams is moving on. Sean Rash, if he goes spare strike in the 10th frame, he'll shoot 205. Mike Fagan, if he strikes out, he'll shoot 205. And right now, Ruiz is going at a 194 pace, but he is working on a strike in the 8th. This is the biggest shot of his young career coming up right here. 9th frame, working on a strike.
Got it! Williams drops that one, and he remains clean through 9. So Stewart is on.
Yeah, he's moving on. Ruiz just jumped ahead of Mike Fagan. He's 1 pin behind Sean Rash. Critical 10th frame now for Michael Fagan.
Sean Rash in 2nd, needs a strike and leaves the 10 off that open frame. Mike Fagan in last place right now. Huge 10th coming up for your number 1 seed. Smooth swing, and the 10 is denied. Rash on the left lane.
He almost
put on the skinny jeans to knock that one down.
He almost missed another single pin spare, and that would have cost him this match.
Remember, Rash basically handed Mika Koivuniemi the WBT championship here last month because of a missed 10-pin.
If he misses that, it initially knocks him out of this competition, and he almost missed it.
Fagan. 9 spare.
The only chance that Mike Fagan has now is for Ruiz to open in the 10th frame. Ruiz needs a mark. Sean Rash needs to keep the ball on the lane.
Low score eliminated. Your number 1 seed trying to avoid that fate. Right through the nose.
So Rash doesn't even need pins now. And Ruiz needs a mark.
Mike Fagan has essentially begun packing his bags. 203 for Sean.
Stewart Williams now will just continue to do what he's been doing, making sure that he is still lined up to the pocket, getting ready for game 2.
7th strike for the Englishman. Ruiz strikes in the 8th and the 9th. Here he is in the 10th, trying to confirm his spot. Well, tomorrow's father watching in attendance.
Boy, he looks nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah, he threw it great. For someone that looked to be nervous, well, he came through in the clutch. Michael Fagan's eliminated.
There's a Venezuelan cheering section going on over there.
That heavy sigh of relief.
Yeah, they're putting the world in the World Series of bowling.
So the Venezuelan, Ruiz, moves on, as does the American, Sean Rash, and the Englishman, Stewart Williams. Eliminator match number 2 of the Bear Viper Open coming up next.